We are in a bad spot. Essentially anything with anyone that can go wrong has, except for really Priscilla because we don't know where she is, and then felt Reinhardt and Otto because they're all okay for right now, and haven't been really in the action. So besides for them, everybody else they're not in a good spot. And the war continues. It's not looking pretty. The city's flooded. The city's destroyed. Subaru doesn't have a leg. Where do we go from here? We have to reset him at some point. I'm like 99% sure we have to reset him. But how? How is the question? Because if we do, where do we reset him to, right? Do we reset him to previously before the Capella meeting? Do we reset him to the meeting that happened when they initially found out about everybody? But if that happens, we lose a lot of stuff that happens kind of in between. Well, I guess we don't, because Amelia's technically gone, so we can assume all of her order of operations continue on the same. Capella kind of similar introduction, and we kind of know powers and stuff before she's aware that we're aware of them, which we've seen him utilize before with Petal Goose and stuff. So like that technically has happened, so I guess could happen. And the only real thing that we end up losing is the city itself becoming like flooded and destroyed. That's realistically the only thing that we end up losing, but we can redo that. That's not a problem. We have questions. This dragon is still going around that seemingly is somebody that we probably know being turned into it, considering the fact that it was so willing to just take Christian Subaru and try and get out of there and escape from Capella, even though you assume it would be like on her side. But I don't know. So we'll have to, I guess, just end up seeing what exactly the regroup effort ends up being here. Maybe not. I actually think it would be really fun if we just make him keep hopping around on one leg and, and figure out what we can do. But I don't think we're going to do all that. So hopefully you guys enjoyed that. If you like it, I'll like and subscribe to me. Feel free to stick around for the discussion. Leave comments with this better series ago, episode 6. Thank you, 184.
ここに来る前に滞在式をって名乗る人と会ったの。
Oh, there's a lot of them.
でもその人は色欲じゃなくてフンドって名乗っていて。
Yeah, she's here.
ですからこの都市には複数の滞在司教の方々が。
5.
旦那様もその一人。レガルスが。
Hour?
もしかして銀髪の乙女との結婚式って。
She's talking about me? Come on, Amila, piece it together.
私が逃げ出したりしたら。プリステラが水の底に分かっていただけたようですので今度こそお着替えを
Alright, glad we get you up to speed. Let's go.
スバル
He's literally drowning with loss of leg.
男性ですか
Nah, Regulus wouldn't like you cheating on him.
私のキス様なの
Oh, okay. The fuck is happening? I was gonna say, is he using Shamak underwater? I'm very lost. Did she do something? Oh, I lost a leg.
このリリアナ、あまりの事態に足の震えが止まらん。新作の踊りみたいなありさまに。
Yeah, how's this bug? Is she capable of some like crazy shit? I mean, we already know she's summoning swords out of nothing. Ugh. Just breathe. So we can just heal. Yeah, I'm with you. Right.
ルグニカ王家に神竜が授けた3つの司法の1つじゃな。
Thank you, Liliana.
フニカ王国に伝わる神竜ボルカニカとの遊戯の一節ですね。
Oh.
随分と万能そうだな、竜の血。
ふむ、どうやら足以外の傷は治らんと。
Right. So it's only the blood that was infused through there? Weird.
住民の方々のほとんどは避難所に。
Alright, that worked for us. Some that didn't make much sense to me. He was drowning, it's not his fault. So Betty, possible. Tomb of Wisdom, I don't know how that's even here. It must be something different version of a gospel assumption, I guess. I don't know. Will you meet any of her demands? Yeah, but how? Calm down. He's been through a lot.
できるできないの話じゃなく、やるやらねえの話だ。
気概は悪くはない。
Maybe you're not as bad as I thought.
褒美を取らせる。
Which is what?
お前、いきなり何しやがる。
Okay, God. Ew! Why does it have a striped pattern? Ugh. Yeah.
これが今都市に跋扈する醜悪なる劣等よ。いずれも創作者の美醜の感覚が死滅しているとしか思えぬ悪ふざけの産物。
Look how they're all different, too. No one is the same.
哀れでならぬ。ゆえに慈悲深いわらわが引導を。
She's so fucking cool, dude. Does she just freeze time? Or slows it?
この陽剣の輝きと亜重の存在の放置を貴様の気概への褒美。
She's so cool. She's so cool. A lot more than we do.
ほうけていると置いていくぞ。ボン。
It just makes me wonder, like, what Anastasia and the others can do if we... probably nothing.
少し当てられただけでたやすく飲まれる。
まさか、フンドの剣能。
Oh. Thank you for piecing that together. I would have been lost. That's why we gotta keep him down here. We gotta lock him up. Yeah, and you're not even taking over. Can she charm them? Thank you.
聞いてください。水面に揺れるプリステラ。思い出してみて。小川のせせらぎ。
It's nice that she has a use. I wonder if she's a distraction or if we're gonna see the red like slowly go away from their eyes. Because if she's a distraction, we gotta get moving. You're gonna be able to make a whole album out of her songs at this rate. We're like 5 deep already. We're almost the same amount of episodes. I wonder if all of these are written in the novel. Or if he's just like... She sang a song, by the way, and it's gone. Ugh. I'm assuming some of them have to be written, like, when there's specific things about them, so probably all of them, yeah.
これが今この都市の各所で起きておる醜く無意味な現実よ。貴様、この不快な空気をフンドの剣能と言ったな。
ああ、フンドの剣能は人の感情をかき回す。不安だらけの避難所は格好の餌食だ。
Yeah, would make sense.
売りしろ。
そこで私の出番ってわけです。歌で人を虜にすること、それこそが私の本望ですよ。
I'm glad we got a place for you.
このためにリリアナを連れ回すことなのか？
たわけ。わらわはシュルトを探しておるだけじゃ。なんじゃ貴様のその顔
Yeah,
は。
I find that hard to believe.
俺はミューズ商会に戻って仲間たちと合流する。
I recommend you come.
わらわにはやるべきことがある。
Alright, we'll leave you. I have faith you'll be alright.
何か気がかりなことでもあるのかい？
I'd rather you not do those.
184
The smile's
被
crazy.
害の最中彼女に何かあったのかな？
恐れながら先ほどのカペラ様の放送の影響かと。
放送？
She's interfering with us.
あれか。相変わらずあの肉女の声は耳障りだと思って聞き流してい
Yeah, I've learned to just block it
女
out.
の子が初めて聞くと気分が悪くもなるか。嫌だよね。あんな誰からも愛される価値のないガイド女の暴言なんて気にしなくていい。君には僕に愛され
That's
る
crazy. That's crazy.
そうね、ちょっと疲れてるのかも。休んでもいい？
Is she just thinking of a plan or is she just so confused still?
回らなかったね。すまない。会場の準備は僕と妻たちで。
My wives will prepare for my other wives. Yes. What a guy.
妻たち総出で結婚式の準備をしているんだよ。僕の妻は総勢291人。
Okay, so she is his
別れ
wife.
た子も多い。
Ah.
残った妻は53人。君を入れて54人ということになる。僕は君も
But didn't he call her 70?
平等に愛してみせる。
ありがとう。
Then what is she? This is where I'm confused. I'm confused. I don't get the numbers.
花嫁の疲れに気づかなかったのは僕の不手際でもあるけど、一番そばにいてあげた誰かが気づくべきだったと、そんな風に思わないか？
Oh.
ごめんごめん、ついうっかりしたよ。それじゃあ僕は用事があるから別室に。
He just. I love him. I hate him, but I love him.
今あなたは殺されかけてたのに。
That was part of the
助
job.
けていただいたことのお礼は言いました。それ以上私に求めるのは権利の侵害では。権利や義務の話なんてしてない。もっと大事な話をしてるの。聖堂にいる奥さんたちもみんなそうなの？
Yeah, they're kind of just brainwashed.
態度に怯えて小さくなって過ごしてるの？殺されそうになっても黙って。
Hey, they all bad as fuck. He does his thing.
あなたもそのうちになれますよ。
So you just give up.
おかしい。結婚って幸せで幸せで幸せな人たちがするんじゃないの？
Maybe at
幸
first.
せでなくても結婚はできます。
That's true.
旦那様の言葉に従ってください。
Or you will lose your life. Perished is crazy because you know exactly what happened to all of them too. Who? Ah, of course, of course. How did your fight go? Any updates?
だけどな、お前も無事で何よりだ。
What did he do?
言い訳してよ。何か理由があって仕方なかったんだって。私を納得させてみてよ。どうしてなんで誰も。
公爵の嬢ちゃんと黒竜とを結ぶのに使われとったんや。
おう、クリスさんはどうなったんだ？
Doesn't appear to be good.
私はクリス様のところにいるから。
べっぴんさんやったからな。見たら余計に辛いわ。
記憶に何かされたのだろう。
And used it on the face too, so
竜の血。
yeah.
これでよし。
Whoa. Well, that's kind of cool. Let me just get on out of here. He's gonna catch her for sure, right? This is so cool.
そっか。
Wow.
4つの塔がいっぺんに取られちゃって、それで身動き
And they each occupy one.
すぐそばに聖堂があるから。
たちの動きになんて興味はないんだよ僕は。ただ
He's talking to all of them. Okay.
あれはいただけない。勝手なことをして僕の
Yeah, how's my wedding supposed to be great now? You fucking rude.
ガスなんて僕の権利の
I only get 200 of them. Come on.
君の塔はここからでもちょうどまっすぐによく見える。
Well, take it out.
この
Fuck
くらいの
you.
距離なら吹き飛ばすのは簡単だ。
I love how they're all just at war with each other
指紋を開
too.
けたのは君じゃない？おいおい、どういう言い逃れなわけ？醜い肉女が。
Hello, green one.
間もなく内装に取り掛かります。
ああ、もうそんなに時間が経ったのか。すぐに行くとしよう。
Go in and grab it? That'd be helpful. Quick.
正面にあるのは一番街の制御塔ね。さっきの話からすると、そこにいるのは色欲の滞在司教。
Mm-hmm.
このことをスバルに伝えなくちゃ。
If you can make it to him in the meantime. Okay, you're okay?
ちゃんは人工精霊やね。
Yes.
そうだ。ベアトリスは人工精霊だよ。
We're not gonna hand her over
随
though.
分素直に話すんやね。
I don't think she has the
敵が
tomb
誰狙いか
though.
って話なんだ。これを隠してたら利的行為ってやつだろ。英知の書についてだ。
Yeah,
詳
like
しく聞こうか。その本のことだけ何も情報がなくて困ってたんよ。
that's the one I was most
英知の
interested
書っ
in.
てのは魔女教が持ってる福音書のプロトタイプ。
Yes,
元になった完成版って話だ。
but
それは
they're
どこから
gone.
聞いたん？
作った魔女に。
魔女から直接本当の話なのかそれは。
You're forced to believe me.
会って話して騙されてはめられていろいろあった相手なんだよ。で、その英知の書は2冊あったんだが、
Alright, but they're gone, right?
2冊とも燃えて灰になった。だが
So they might just not know that though.
が燃えたこと、魔女教は
Right.
知る可能性があるわけやね。
ああ、そうだな。で、最後の一つが銀髪の乙女との結婚式。
I ain't let that happen.
勘違いメンヘラ野郎ども。何一つあいつらなんか
That's the one that gets him God.
夏樹くんの言う通りや。それが体木で商人として立ったうちの教師や。
Alright.
現在町の人たちは全員各所に設けられた避難所にいる。多くの避難所で人々は不安にうつむき、中にはその不安が別の衝動を呼び起こし、危険な暴発を招く場合もある。
Yeah, we've already seen
可能な
some.
限り被害を防ぐために尽力はしているが、
ダメになった避難所もある。死人も少なからず出る。それを言いよどむんは卑怯やって思わん？
アナスタシア様。
犠牲は出
Yeah, we have to make sacrifices based on that. And I love that he's letting this play out. Of course he did. These people were just surprised, but Because you really thought this through, damn. All right, brother. And that answers what he was asked long and long ago, or beginning of the season.
騎士って生き物はカッコつけで欲張りだからな。死ぬまで視線でカッコつけるさ。エミリア
Part of the job.
救い出す。暴食をぶっ倒してレムの記憶を吐き出させる。街中を不安がらせるシリウスを叩きのめしてカペラは土下座させて変身させた人全員元通りに戻させる。
It's not like I have to do it, it's like I will do it.
を取り返して。
Alright, brother. I see you.
ピーエンド
In a perfect world. Gonna find the... Oh, never mind, it's her. I was gonna say, I thought they were gonna find the fake. Grab it. Grab it. Someone's definitely in here, right? Just lurking under the desk.
これってさっきの。
おっと、反応あったな。
Ow. What did he do? Why did... Okay. Well, we get some action and things regarding Priscilla, of course, towards the beginning, and the different mob beasts and everything kind of coming in now, or infused mob beast, whatever they really are, coming in. It's definitely more of a standard research episode, I guess I would say, where we kind of just use a lot of dialogue and we discuss a bunch of shit. And I think that's great. I think that they do a really good job at getting you really intrigued for what's to come. It's a good reset point almost. Well, it's not technically a reset point, but reset in the sense that we are slowing things down. We are rediscussing everything and evaluating the scenarios that we find ourselves in and what we can do going forward. And I think it does a really excellent job at being able to do that. And arguably, probably my favorite thing, I think, at this point is Subaru not resetting, utilizing, at least from the viewer's perspective, and I'm assuming his, the position and understanding of what his power actually entails, right? Like what Satella's giving him, the ability to create a future that kind of is the best for him, right? Put him in, reset him constantly in these spots that are the most ideal for us. While that doesn't entail like saving everybody, and mainly is more so just him, I think we can use that to our own advantage to kind of maybe look from the outside and determine like this is a reset point that we can possibly go to, or this is possibly one. And instead of immediately jumping into it and going back knowingly to the same sort of spot, he continues to learn more and more and more and utilize all of this to his advantage before ultimately probably making that decision or having it just happen to him, whatever I guess would come first. And I think that's really cool. It leaves us wondering more and more, like we're really learning a lot. It would be a waste to introduce all this and kind of set it back, which I've said multiple other times for different things. So it's like, where exactly would you ever plan to kind of reset him? So if we want to look through from Satella's point of view, I guess, of what would be beneficial towards him, my understanding or argument I think that I would kind of make would be at the start of this episode, his meeting with Priscilla, I think is probably the reset point presently. It might change again, and it might even actually become, honestly, no. Honestly, now that I think about it, it might be the end of this episode. It might be the declaration he makes would be where if we had a new reset point, it would be at now. Because if we're thinking logically, like I would assume that you would probably say, let's go back to before the city's invaded or anything actually happens. Because then you want to like protect it and you want to save all these people and everything. Right? That would be my understanding. But at the same time, we get a lot of like important things, and I think the overall infusion with the dragon blood is probably a very key thing that it would likely have to be afterwards, because then you're putting full reliance that he actually gets it back. And not that he needs it, but I would be under the assumption that if everybody of the royal family has died out and the only person remaining is the Archbishop of Lust here, the person who can then hold it and have that within them being him would probably be a really big fucking deal. I'm just assuming would be a really, really massive deal. And Satella would be kind of well aware of that and would want him to be at a point where he has like this thing that could utilize it to better himself in his life going forward. And also it protects him from having to really, I guess, like worry, and he can regen his leg at least going forward. So I think that would make a lot of sense to me actually, to have it at the end, because he's making a lot of big boasts about everything that's going to happen. And would you actively make all those boasts if you don't plan to do it this current time and actually like think that you're probably going to go back further? Probably not. I mean, he might be doing it for the sole reason of pumping everybody else up, only two people being in that room, but maybe more so just to convince them, or maybe convince himself or something. I don't know. But I think that it's, regardless, it's really cool that we continue to go more and more without resetting him. I don't think we've reset since episode 2. So not that it's been much, it's been 4 episodes, but still, like, if this was arc 3, he'd be resetting every episode, trying to figure out exactly how he can get back. And instead, he's really utilizing everything to his advantage here and trying to find out as much information before ultimately either making that decision or having it happen. And I think that's really excellent. And it shows a lot of growth of his own trust in himself, the people around him, and what he plans to kind of do and how he plans to kind of work around what this power ends up giving him. And it's pretty excellent so far. So I would guess too, if I had to, that this season, the core break, they could cliffhanger us, but my assumption would be he would probably die or kill himself at the core break, which would then reset us in a different spot on the new one, which would then put everybody together because he would have knowledge of what he needs to do to group people together, and then start what this counterattack of what core 2 would actually be called. I think that would make a lot of sense. So my guess, I think, would be he doesn't die until episode 8 here, and he will at the end of it. And maybe we see him come back with exactly where his reset point is, and it might be after he like kind of has a declaration to himself, at least, of like what his plans really are, which he kind of does here, but like more so going through his own thought process of like, I have everything that I need and I really utilize this for the benefit of myself. Like, this is the most important thing that I could have done. So I think that'll be pretty cool. Now, if we could go through the episode, that would be nice. I like how it almost feels like we're just taking turns between OP and ED being on and off. To fit in some extra stuff here or there, I think is good. So we learned a little bit about everybody being here, about Regulus. Actually, no, we learned that a little bit later. She calls out Subaru. So Subaru goes through this weird spiral that I have no clue what's going on, and all this stuff is happening. So if I made a guess, it's seeing visions of these things essentially that he's seen that I guess we could almost consider to be curses, right? So would the likelihood of an infusion of blood that also is kind of a curse in itself, would that not just be some sort of like conflicting thing that's then either fighting off and releasing all the dormant kind of curses that have been placed within him? Because if I'm correct, Betty didn't undo anything because he had a ton of like knots and stuff within him, right? She just found out the fact that he actually had things in him, and then he continued to do the fight and everything and got healed afterwards. So if we take out everything and they can't actually be activated, is there a chance that the untangling actually began when this blood kind of came in contact with the others, or this curse itself came in contact with the others? Or is it just something where they're just fighting and then he's seeing hallucinations and like visions almost of all of this as it's trying to like kind of infuse itself and become one? I don't know. Priscilla waking us up, I think, is great. Her just burning him here is fucking crazy. And she's great. I like that so much that we are getting development, especially when it comes to like royal candidates, because there are people who have been not the primary focus of this, being super story and everything up to this point, especially now being able to see what they're capable of and seeing other sides of them. We didn't see maybe the greatest view of a lot of them within the first season outside of really Cruise. So being able to see like these other sides and really how they feel and operate and what they're each capable of, and the sweeter, I guess, nicer side of them to showcase that they do care for people, but in different ways from each other, and how they're able to protect themselves or protect those around them or coordinate all of those things to actually happen, have been really intriguing. And Priscilla's been the most intriguing one up to this point, which can continue onwards. I have hopes kind of set for Anastasia to be something special because I think she's just like really clever and really just intrigues me. I love like her design and her voice and everything, so I just really want more of her and hope that she's capable of more. But Priscilla's like way of thinking is so interesting in comparison to everybody else, like leagues above, and everything from design to just the way she carries herself to her ability to protect and fight to just her strength and everything overall is so special. And it's so like next level in comparison that she's just so interesting. Her and Liliana make a really good duo, and I'm happy that they're staying around. I love her little like, I'm sweating so much that it looks like I'm doing so much, not sweating, shaking so much that it looks like I'm doing a good dance. It's really funny. Some good shots of the city being completely destroyed and then seeing that he got his leg back. He also got his bandages back and his foot back. So I don't know exactly how the regenerative stuff begins. Maybe it's simply like everything that was attached to him at that present time. It kind of gets rebrought when it actually happens, but then we end up seeing him here. So likely what is left on Crucia's face is probably this, which is not the prettiest thing and not really something that we want to end up seeing. So good thing that they kind of spared us. And I feel like they did that on fucking purpose. I feel like they made her so like adorable the past few episodes and like different from the Crucia that we're used to, just so that they can try and hit us with some bullshit like this. At least they didn't show us, but I feel like they just went up and above because of that. Her putting him through all of this to showcase the regenning, and then actually, what did she do? She like wrapped him at one point with his whip to really test it. Thank you for explaining in music, Liliana. I appreciate that. And the royal family, what is it? The verse passed down in the royal family about friendship with the holy dragon Volcanica. With wait, so there's a holy dragon? Okay. Okay. This is pretty cool. I don't know where any of them are. Lust added some stuff to her list, which we talk about. So the artificial spirit is Beatrice, which we suspected last week, which makes sense. Why they're after her, I don't really know, but I mean, she's a lot of power and capabilities and stuff, so I guess that makes plenty of sense. The wedding to happen, I think they're just kind of making Regulus happy. I don't really know if there's a big reason behind it, but there is that, and he's not going to let that happen either. And then the Tome of Wisdom, which might just be that they're not aware, which he does make note of, that they're not aware that both of them burnt, but also maybe there's something that we're not aware of. Maybe like Betty's didn't actually burn and she kept it on her person the whole time and she has it. She's just been like lying and clinging on to this thing or something. I don't know for certain, but I guess we'll find out. And what use did they feel like that they were going to have for it? Especially if they get the Betty copy of him, what are you gonna do with it? So I don't really know. Oh, this isn't enough to make you lose heart, which I really like too. It's growth, especially on him. He would have backed down or assumed things were over, just went charging into things without thinking much, but it makes him want to be able to do whatever he can to not back down and help. I'll give you a reward. Here we go. I love how she goes hiding. They are gross. Their designs and everything. Likely infused beings from Capella, which is not great. Different CG shots and stuff don't look too terrible for them, but at least when we get more close-ups and like movements of them, they are 2D, which I think it makes sense. You know, it's hard to really animate them stuff, especially if you want to make them like terrifying in some sort of way and move, but it just doesn't work. Like I get why they would do that. And then she pulls out this badass shit with the Yang sword. And so it just seemingly just pauses or it makes everything move slow. I don't know if it's like they can't touch me or I freeze time and like a barrier essentially around me that this can kind of see or utilize. And she performs some sort of like special art here that actually just works unreal and kills everything. The shine of the Yang sword and knowledge of demi beasts are my reward to you. You get rewarded for staying alive here too and can use that going forward. And I'll let you see all of this too. What the hell are you capable of? It makes me wonder. She seemingly will be incredibly strong. Witness one more time before your eyes. And then we find out some other stuff. So the mood is a little fucked up. He immediately attributes all of this to wrath. And everybody starts fighting and going against each other, which we can see is not a good thing. So keep quiet and let Liliana do this. I think this sets up two different things. One, the utilization of Liliana and her songs to be broadcasted to everybody while we're in battle with Wrath, I think would make the most sense to me, or to put them in an isolated area where Liliana's kind of just almost overseeing it in singing at the same time. But I don't think that would work or would matter as much. So instead, I'm just going to choose to believe she would do this over the entire city so that anybody that can kind of be potentially put under the spell of what Wrath is capable of doing will be slowly undone simply through the fact that she's able to change like the tone and like overall mood of the atmosphere and like the way that they're feeling. And I think that would be pretty smart. But I also think it sets up the idea that Priscilla might be the one that goes up against her too, just because they're such like a duo that seemingly is happening here. But I don't really know. Because I wanna say that Wrath would be for Subaru, not for Subaru, for Amelia. I wanna say that, but I don't know either. Because I'm trying to make predictions, because we're probably gonna have pairings that go against at times too. But I think you have to like sort them almost by like strength of like what's gonna happen. And I just feel like we'll get like Reinhard Regulus and then like Julius Lai / Roy. Maybe not at the same time, maybe both though. So maybe at the same time we also get help from like Garfield and like Ricardo and stuff in that fight. And then like I just want to say Amelia Wrath makes the most sense to me. So then like Priscilla here makes a lot of sense going up against Lust. Like I feel that almost, because with Crucia's probably out for the game, she's probably done with right now for the arc, would be my guess, or until maybe we come back, but I don't think things change too much on her end. So I don't know, but I'm probably overlooking it because it might be utilization of others. I don't know. We'll have to see. Because like then who does Al go against? And we still got to talk about Al and everything later, but it's like where exactly does he come in and who is he going up against? So I don't know, but explaining it while it happens and going away is really well done. And he gets to see something, another side of her bringing this and trying to calm down all the people and everybody that's kind of around here, because everybody else is all messed up. And this isn't the only place either. Trying to play it off like she's looking for only Schultz, which we know isn't true in the slightest. And he's like, I'm going to go back. You do you. Putting enough trust almost in him going forward. Regulus loves the outfit. I think it looks great too. And then he explains his whole scenario about the numbers and who he is and things regarding Capella and everything too. He's weird but funny but great at the same time. I like him a lot. I think he's great. Look at this venue. Everybody's working. Sadly, some have perished. So I didn't think I got it in the moment, but I think I get it now. I think he has 200 and something total over time, right? And he's killed off a majority of them because they're probably just not dying of age. Maybe they are, but regardless, they are dying at some point. And he only has 53. Amelia planned to be 54, presently alive. So that means that 184 is probably number like 50 or like 40 or 30 or something, but he just refers to them by their numbers as opposed to wife, because it makes it easier for him to track like the order and stuff for whatever his reason actually is. But his present like alive wives would have different numbers assigned to them. So like Amelia would be like 291 or something. I think, if I'm understanding that correct, which is not great. It's fucked up and we don't love that at all. And I don't think he sees a problem in it in the slightest, but good for him, you know, too many women to count, and they just do all of his labor and everything for him. So I love how they prep the weddings for the other wives too. I was thinking, if she was tired, why did you not notice that? And Amelia immediately realizing that something bad is about to happen and lunging to try and come save her. And I just love how he doesn't say anything. He just walks away. Like, he's like, oh yeah, you guys are good, by the way. Like, he thinks like he thought he would be like mad or would care. He just like forgot and gave up in that moment. So stupid. I love them. We learn a little about them too, that they really don't have reason to kind of continue onwards and like feel like their own individuals or like care, like have emotions in any sort of way. They just kind of do as they're told and instructed, probably because they've seen all the horrors and things that have happened to those that don't obey him. I would assume. So they just kind of fall in line and assume nothing really matters. Marriage can take place without happiness, absolutely. And I'm assuming every single one of them, likely, maybe outside of maybe 1, 2, or 3, probably all occurred unhappy and forceful, almost at that. Getting chased down, but nope, we got you. We save you. The boy Julius. The others are here. Things got attacked. People got hurt. Let's go to the government office and see. Slapping Wilhelm. What did he do to deserve this? He didn't do anything. Convinced me that something could have been avoided. Well, it doesn't really look too great for anybody involved here. Found this, it was being used to restrain Krush and the Black Dragon. So can we talk about a dragon? Because I still have a lot of questions. I guess we won't do that though. And they go to see Krush, which likely having the scar or fucked up morphed face almost as a result of what happened with the blood. So not great. So she didn't entirely turn into like another being. I assume that she would have turned into like an animal or something, but maybe she was strong enough to kind of resist that, but it still messed with her similar in a way that Subaru actually did, which could be a benefit, you know, because now she's like resistant in the face potentially. But maybe also that's not the case. What if it's like simply just because it's Subaru's blood mixed with it, like that area gets special ability? I don't know, but we'll just make the assumption that's not the case, and she is all kinds of fucked up. Amelia making the ice statue and stepping out here as she walks around is great. Really clever how she just walks along here. I absolutely love it. And she overhears some stuff, basically an argument that goes down between him and Capella, and she doesn't want to actually get caught. They are arguing, which I think is the indication for likely where the arc heads, right? We're going to make an assumption that our group wins, right? That's typically a story in general. But if we were to make that assumption, it also could come down to, instead of working together as these powerful beings that they are, they willingly choose to fight and kind of be at odds with each other, although falling under the same end goal having these arguments and this internal conflict and stuff causes them to all be isolated and not work with each other. That then causes them to be able to get teamed up on by others and taken more advantage of and killed. So I think it just screams more confidence for me and our group going forward, even if it's not in the immediate. And we pay close attention to this because, of course, we have to come back to it at some other point. I think like shots like this, like the city's so pretty. Have to let Subaru know. And I love the growth overall in Amelia's part too. It's not like it's finding out as much information as she can, report back to the others. Let me actually be useful and not just sit around and wait for somebody to come to me, wait for Subaru to come to me, even though she's called out his name a couple different times. It's let me go out and do things on my own, try and escape, try and figure things out, try and obtain any information and objects and things that I can that can kind of help anybody who's helping us here. Let's get straight to the point. Yes, that is Betty. Anastasia just coming to agree with it. They don't understand what the Tome of Wisdom is, or they think it's still there when it actually isn't. And getting them to believe that he's talked to the witches and stuff too is pretty good, because it just shows that they're putting straight trust in him. I mean, he hasn't really been wrong yet, so we have to. And I love how he's like calm, but he snaps the moment they're like, I am not handing her. I am absolutely not. And then just the overall difference between the two. There's plenty of sacrifices and things that actually have to happen, and Anastasia sees that and is willing to take full advantage of that and just focus on what we can do, like prioritize certain individuals and people, where Subaru sees it different and he is on his high horse as always about we can't have any sacrifices, we can't let just people die that are innocent, we have to do whatever we can, which is great. It's an ideal scenario that isn't usually realistic, but it's also just great overall from him of realizing even in the time of need we still need to pay attention and focus on them. He answers his own question the question that was asked of him at one point, where he's going to put like priority on somebody else over like others or whatever the scenario that's happening is. And I kept saying like, yes, of course he's going to prioritize Amelia, similar to how Al walked away and he ended up going to look for Priscilla, and how Julius would try and save Anastasia. Like they have people that they care about more than the majority of the others, and that's kind of just their duty and their job. And while he does agree that that is the case, doesn't mean that he wants to help them any less. It doesn't mean that he's still not looking out for them or what the best interest of the others kind of would be. And I love the idea too that he has of people dying in the white whale battle was different. They were prepared for it. Their entire mentality going into it was that they might lose their life, but they're willing to for the things that they need. Whereas here, these people were just attacked at random. They had no clue what was going to happen. Their bodies have just been taken over. None of this stuff was the things that they were mentally kind of in a place that they were ready for. If you die and it's something that you truly have gone into battle with the knowledge and understanding that you can, and you gave it your all, we have to kind of respect that resolve that you had, and we have to respect you, because your sacrifice would be for nothing, right? But instead, these people just had their lives taken short for no reason at all, and unknowingly to them, it's not a great thing, not necessarily what he wants, which I get completely. And I think like overall, he does such a great job at giving the speech and making everything seem like all these strong boasts and everything. I'll go through, I'll do this, I'll do this, I'll do this. And it's not like we have to do this. How are we going to do this? What are we going to do? I need to do this or something. It's I will do this. I'm going to do this. Like a very proud declarations of what's to happen, which like is why I don't think it's a straight reset point, because or I think it would be likely after this, because why would you make all those strong boasts just for like the moment the next episode starts, because his head shot off or something, you know what I mean? Like it doesn't really make a lot of sense there. But really strong, shows a lot of growth, especially on him, of not being able to back down, finding out this information and still continuing to go forward despite facing, not too strong of odds here. Another thing I would like to say too is I like the idea of us starting at daytime and being attacked by villains and then becoming essentially the villains when we go back and attack likely at night. I think is really a cool scenario, and not necessarily something that I'm too used to, because usually, you get attacked or like sneaked up on in the night by like these people who kind of utilize that to their own advantage. Well, we're going to try and do that probably like in the future. I think it'll be really cool. And then end sequence, where we go and we open this and look who we ended up seeing. What? I got a response. What did he say? Yeah, that's all he said. So we get Al, who answers this, which we know for 100% fact that Capella was on the other end at one point in his argument that Regulus ended up having with her. So a few different ideas is this connects to every single archbishop, and Al has found one, whether because somebody threw it or because he defeated somebody or whatever, and he just picked it up. Another one could be it's simply just Capella's and it's just a one-on-one, and he ended up being able to find it. So now he can kind of have communication with these other people. Why he has it, the guess would be he found it because she is no longer occupying that area. So he probably went looking for her and ended up seeing it, and he's been testing it out and seeing what it does because nobody's been really answering or responding, meaning that this is the only other end. And by the time she got in the room and let everybody kind of walk away, enough time probably likely had passed. It could mean like some weird shit, like he's associated with the witch's cult, but I just don't buy that at all. It makes me question too if it like is a full connection to everybody on a system and not simply just lust. Has he defeated somebody? Did he do something in his spare time that we just off screen? Like I don't know about all that, but I don't know. It gets me sus. Like, why does he just have that? I wonder if we form some sort of team between like him and Amelia trying to help her out and get her out of here and working, as opposed to maybe him coming back and like regrouping with Subaru and like Priscilla and everything. I doubt that, but I think that would be pretty fun. We got to learn so much more about him. I just want to see him fight. I want to see what he's capable of. That is going to be likely all that I have. I made some guesses, some predictions. We had some fun, and I really enjoyed it once again. I hope you guys did as well. I'm very excited for next week. Hopefully you guys have a good one. If you liked it all, like and subscribe. They do mean a lot to me. Feel free to check out the channel and comments for this better series. I will be back next week, next Thursday, actually, for the upload for episode 7, our second to last episode of the first fake core split kind of thing for season 3. I hope you guys have a great one. Peace.